And like I said, let's go from the top down. Our Chief Justice, who's about to retire in South Australia, because obviously we live here, was a political appointee by Rand. Now, he was a fairly despicable human being. Not that when the other lot got in, they did us any favours. And he proudly states on his website, or the government funded website, that he's been there so long, all 16 justices, I think he called them, which is a contradiction in terms, have been appointed during his tenure. Now, if you're a politically motivated activist, I've got zero confidence that anybody sitting on the bench in South Australia is even close to the middle. Even though it looks like an immovable mountain, the people who are actually shrieking and prodding everybody else, the vast majority of people aren't into this. Most of them don't care, and they'll run away from the facts anyway, as you've sort of pointed out there. People being put through the mincer will still claim it's all okay as long as they sit in their little bird cage and lay an egg a day. People are going to leave them alone.
Well, and just to touch quickly on this, I'd done an interview the other day with Sue Price, and I dug up some old statistics, and she done the same, and it literally came out of a family court study. I think from memory it was 2012 to 2019, but around about, on or about. So, but the way the statistics were broken down was interesting because essentially 88% of allegations were false. 88%. So only 12% found to be true. But rather than say that, they broke it down to categories of mistakenly false. And there's false. So, but this comes back to men, let's be honest. Blokes have been conditioned to say nothing. When we get shafted or something becomes uncomfortable, we compartmentalise, we lock it up, we push it away, and we go, look, that was a bad time in life. Let's not revisit that. We'll just fucking move forward. We'll learn from it, and we'll keep ploughing ahead. The problem with that thought process is you've now left your fucked up situation for somebody else to walk straight into and have to live through because you haven't had the nous to share it. So for all you blokes out there that watch us, and for all you blokes that watch Draz regularly, understand this number only comes down when men voice their opinion. We have to start being upfront, and when we see a misandrous statement or somebody makes you do something simply because you're a man, ask the question. How many women have you asked to do this? Or how many women have you told that they must do a behaviour change course so they can fit into society properly? So you're a middle-aged man and you've decided to get involved in doing your own podcast. Just for a second, I want to try to explain to people out there because, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but what we run a B-class podcast. We don't have any of the fancy bells and whistles. We don't have the editors that do everything for us. This is all in-house. It's all what you see is what you get. And like I said before, you get no rainbows and cupcakes here. You get the brutal truth. If you don't like it, fuck off and look for another one. But what I'd like to understand, and for you to try to reiterate to people out there, is what it actually takes to do your own podcast is nothing more than a backbone and the will to express your personal opinion publicly. Is that not accurate, mate, with the technology we've got on our phones?
Yeah, pretty much. Best on most of us have got a telephone running around. That's all you need. My output is a little bit erratic. I'll give you that. Be patient. I'm doing what I can. But at the end of the day, like your focus and my focus, I want that 47 to be acknowledged. It has to be acknowledged. It won't be accidentally coming down unless they manage to get rid of all of us. But, like I put a podcast, and I think I mentioned to you before, there's somewhere close to 90,000 outstanding DVO, IVO, whatever they call them, restraining orders aversions. And that is basically men. There's very few out there on women. And all these people have had their lives trashed. If they did have a job before, they haven't got one now. And nobody's accountable for that. Now, as you well know, and I've learned and learning, that there is things you can do. But, ask your lawyer, what can I do to get some of my life back for the crap that, you and others in your little cult have done to me? If you can't get justice, and that sounds like a sort of a motherhood statement, but our system's built on it. If you can't get equality under the law, that's how we settle, who did what for who and what for. If there's no way of getting truth and justice out there, well, then we're living in a dictatorship, and I think people are well, incredibly naive, but they've also got their heads right in the dirt, way down. Well, if they think Australia hasn't changed over the last 10, 15 years, it's that quick.
Oh, it's worse.
But it's happened.
I think you're bang on, mate, because the legal system, I've been wrapped up in it for 10 years, as you know, but I don't see that. I would welcome the conversation with anybody that believes the system is still operating in an unbiased fashion, because my experience is the legal system has been dragged into disrepute. And I say that because there's a political ideology that's infiltrated the legal system, which has now taken away any merit of case, facts and evidence based. I mean, and I know this from personal experience, when you're a man and you're being falsely accused of something, their legal get out of jail free card is that you weren't found to be innocent. You were simply found there wasn't enough evidence to prosecute. Now, when you're a falsely accused man, that one statement alone can cause so much ongoing trauma, because you know you're innocent, you know they had no proof, you know they had no evidence or facts to back it up. So what right do they have to say you weren't found innocent? Because that's essentially what it was. They're just simply trying to use you for a scapegoat, cover their ass legally so you can't come back at them.
No, this is happening in Australia. And, I didn't know the guy, and probably wouldn't have got along if I did. That guy in Port Lincoln that lost his head. Where's the furor about that?
Yeah.
As soon as you are accused, you are the perpetrator. If you're the man is the perpetrator.
Yeah.
They do not care about the facts. They don't look at the facts. They're now pushing everything up to a trial, and that can be years down the track. A state-sponsored persecution, because it's taxpayer funded. There's bureaucracies ad nauseum. I read that letter you put out to to the bloke who runs around with the title of somehow assisting men, which he doesn't. There is,
in his defence, I think Mr. Repacholi may be identifying as non-binary these days. So I don't think the fact that he's clearly got no testicular fortitude. So, Mr. Repacholi, if you do see this, if you've had the nip and tuck, please just come clean, be honest with us. We can all see it anyway.
Look, that's the hideous thing. Okay, he'd be the, I don't know what position on the team you'd have to give him.
He'd be the orange pin, mate. He wouldn't be getting off the bench.
And obviously he thought he'd take the money and run with it. And there's plenty of that sort of rubbish